Let's put a summary on what we talked about 2 weeks ago in our training. This whole mini series that's being created here is about shortages, remember? Where is the case for supplementation? So last week we talked about multivitamin, vitamins and minerals. There's shortages there. Nutrients aren't in the soil. Changes in how the food is packaged, how it's processed. We don't have the nutrients that we once did. Hardly anyone is eating a perfect diet. So we know there's gaps in nutrients. And then you throw in the fact that people are active and they're moving and they're working out because they're coming to the club and they're either being trained by you or coming in and doing the workouts on their own. We know they're active, so we know that that activity also causes nutrient loss. The solution is, well, gosh darn it, why would we not want to take a multivitamin and make sure that we can supply and prevent any gaps? And so that's the theme here, where we're going with this training series. And the whole goal here is, let's set the stage for why there is a need for supplements, what is the shortage, and then we're going to address what is the solution and particular product that fits that solution. And then the third point is why Supplement RX, why this particular product, and how it's different or what's unique about it and how you can sell it as a solution. We want to be able to provide a solution. Yeah, we're selling product, but at the end of the day, the conversation is all about the solution. So what I want to do is pick it up today with a couple other products. And the two products really should go hand in hand with the Daily Essential. If I could wave my magic wand, I would say this product, meal replacement, and the next one we're going to talk about is the perfect duo. If you want any of your clients or members to use products, it's going to be this. The multivitamin, the Daily Essentials with one of these two products. And the first one is meal replacement. So let's build that case. Let's talk about the shortages. Time. There's a shortage of time, whether it's an excuse we use, whether it's actually valid, and there are people that are super busy or people think they're busy, it doesn't matter. People don't have a lot of time and they are busy or they think they're busy and they got other things going on. The reality is people are eating, I say 2 meals a day, like sit down, have your meal type of deal. And then when they do eat, the approximate calories is about 2,400 calories. So you could say about 1,200 calories per meal when you actually sit down and eat the food. So we know that definitely time does create shortages and it causes us to do less than ideal. But it also causes other things like not preparing. If you're not going to take the time, or you think you don't have the time, or you truly don't have the time, it is going to affect how you're preparing your meals and how you're preparing what you're eating, snacks, meals, whatever it is, which means there's most likely going to be not a balance of good macronutrients, of protein, carbs, and fats, right? I mean, we all know you want to eat, every time you eat, you want to try to get a lean protein, fruits, veggies, and some whole grain complex carbohydrates. Yeah, no doubt about it, absolutely. But if you're not taking that preparation, which we know most of the clients don't do, they don't put their baggies together and have their chicken breast and some rice and some good snacks in between. That's a shortage. We're missing that balance. And what happens when you don't have that preparation? Then it becomes grab mode. What I mean by grab mode is it's kind of like, oh shoot, I haven't eaten, or I'm kind of hungry. What's around me, or where can I go and just grab something? And then chances are, what you're grabbing is not going to have balance because you're just grabbing it. You're not looking at it. You're not really doing anything but just getting something in your body. So that definitely is a shortage. And then the last piece to that is knowledge. There's definitely a shortage of people having a true understanding of what good nutrition is. It's based on your activity level. Everyone's got a different activity level. Everyone's got a different fitness goal. Whether you're trying to build muscle or lose weight or get ripped, whatever it is, there's going to be fundamental nutrition knowledge that needs to happen to get you where you need to go. Think about it. If I'm trying to build muscle and I'm eating, let's say, 2,000 calories a day, and I don't really understand it, am I going to really build muscle? Probably not, right? That's not enough calories. You need calories. You need a lot of calories to build muscle. I mean, it's one of the hardest things to do. Vice versa, if I'm trying to lose weight and I'm eating 3,000 calories a day, I better make sure I'm moving quite a bit to get in a deficit to create that weight loss. And that's where you look at knowledge. It's just people don't have it. And a lot of times we know where they're getting their knowledge. They're going Google time. They're Googling diets or the best advice out there, high protein, low fat, low carbohydrate, whatever it is, grabbing these things that, a lot of times we know in this industry aren't that good of advice or aren't that good as far as the knowledge of true good nutrition. So there's definitely a gap. There's definitely a shortage. And when you look at these shortages that are happening, you're going to see things like this. And some of you may remember this. What are our top 5 food choices? And this is based on most consistent calories we're putting in our body a day. When you look at those shortages, guess what? This is what starts to happen. You start taking in things like, sugar drinks, which by the way is the number one, pastries, grains, fast food, hamburgers, pizza, chips. I mean, this is the things that are kind of like, if you're not preparing, this a lot of times this is what you're grabbing. And then if you don't truly understand and know, what does it mean if I drink 3 cans of soda? The gap of knowledge and understanding at the most basic level, that's like 600 to 800 calories, man. I mean, you got to realize that and think about that. Be knowledgeable about that. I mean, that's some serious cardio that you would need to do to burn that off. So, and again, time does affect this too, because, we're busy and things are going on, which basically means we're consuming foods that are higher in calories and they're not getting us the nutrients and the balance that we want. That is probably in my opinion, when you look at people for weight loss, this is the biggest shortages that we talk about. Time, preparation, knowledge, and here's what they're doing because of it. And we know most people that we're working with, that's what they want to do. They want to lose weight. So when we look at meal replacements, I hope you agree, we built a pretty dang good case here for why meal replacement on everything that we've addressed so far. So when we look at who should take a meal replacement, well, we know it's for sure, if you're trying to lose weight or tone, no doubt about it. Anyone that's not eating 5 to 6 balanced meals and snacks a day, which is probably 95% of the people that aren't. And the whole reason why you do a meal replacement, I don't care if it's our RX meal, I don't care if it's a cookie like Lenny and Larry's or a Quest bar or something that helps you hit that 5 to 6, it pays dividends in keeping calories under control, because you're less likely to eat more calories when you sit down and actually eat that meal. Or you don't become ravenous because it's been 8 dang hours since you last ate. You're also boosting your metabolism. You're feeding your muscles consistently. Every 3 to 4 hours, you're nourishing your muscles, which anyone that wants to lose weight, you better be focused on keeping muscle tissue, because that's your calorie burning machinery. I mean, you don't want to just lose weight and shed off some muscle tissue during your weight loss. I mean, you want to keep that. You want that tight toned look. You also want to control hunger. Putting something in your body is important. In fact, there's studies out there that show those that have a frequency of meals spread out every 2 to 3 hours decrease their appetite by 27%. That's pretty cool, especially when you talk about people that want to lose weight. One of the number one things that kill your weight loss success is you're hungry, right? I mean, you can eat a ton of calories at once, no problem. And we don't want people to be hungry. So eating more frequent actually has been shown to reduce your appetite as far as not being so hungry. And that's huge. And then balancing out energy and focus. Blood sugar, it's that roller coaster that you guys all know. If you haven't ate for so long, where are you? You're super low, right? Your blood sugar's boom, it's down here. You're feeling weak, you're feeling tired. And then what do? You eat a bunch of food, and then all of a sudden your blood sugar is on that upswing on the roller coaster. It's way up here. And then all of a sudden you crash because you didn't have good balance and you just put a ton in you, and then you're way back down here. We don't want that. We want to have it where you're eating consistently and having that balanced line going across where you're not having these ups and downs. And that's the benefit of a meal replacement. And then lastly, the key point to this is, what's a success? It's pretty straightforward. All the different studies out there. This one is my particular favorite one from International Journal of Obesity. The reason why I like this one, by the way, is it's taken from several different studies that are out there, and it's compiling all this data, and it's not only looking at one specific timeline, it's 3 months to a year and beyond. And what they're looking at is those that are using a meal replacement. And by the way, if you don't know, that green bar is reduced calorie diet. Blue is performance meal replacement. Across the board, whether it's 3 months, a year, whatever it is, there's significant difference in how it affects people's weight loss. That's how powerful it is to get eating more and providing yourself the ability to nourish the muscle and be able to do it. I mean, how easy is it to do a shake or a bar? I mean, it's the easiest thing you can do. It's easier than preparing 5 or 6 baggies full of different food. What I love about this is if you go to study 4, the longest duration, that's where you see the biggest difference. And we know diets really don't work. They deprive you of different things. They're hard to keep doing, and a lot of times they're restrictive in nature of what you're eating. So it's hard to stay on that. Whereas you can impact people's success by just talking about meal replacement and sticking it into the plan. I mean, how easy is it to do a shake? I don't think any of us on this call could sit down and prescribe a nutrition and say, hey, this is how many calories I need you to eat. You need to be at this calorie level. You need to have this much protein, this much carbohydrates and fats, and here's your plan, and here's the foods you're going to eat. Although I think we're all knowledgeable to an extent that we can help them with that, but can we actually dictate and put a plan like a registered dietitian would in front of them? No, but can we do something, in my opinion, as powerful and in fact probably more powerful is talk about calorie control. Let's be aware of your calories. Let's make sure we're not overeating. Let's make sure we're getting a meal replacement in. And this is the easiest thing you can do is just take this shake. I want you to eat this bar at this point. I want you to do the shake at this point. Boom. Then you have great success opportunity. Then they're realizing that they got the calories under control for the most part. They're reducing their appetite because they're feeding themselves every 2 to 3 hours. They're energized, they're focused, and that's the proof of the meal replacement. And I absolutely love this particular study. The next step to that is let's talk about RX Meal then. We set the stage here. We talked about what is the case here for a meal replacement. How do you sell it? Well, we just talked about how you sell it right here with these points. Calorie control, boosted metabolism, feeding the muscle, controlling hunger, balanced energy and focus. So why RX Meal then? Because that's obviously our meal replacement. Well, number one, this particular product is probably one of the easiest things to sell. I'm sure many of you have mastered selling this just by the conversation we just had on the benefits of it, but you know it tastes incredible. And if you don't know, next time it's sampled, you got to try it. I mean, you should have tried it by now, but it tastes incredible, right? So it on taste alone, it sells. For Lone Star Distribution, in the meal replacement category, it's the number one meal replacement that's sold. And you know we're only sold in the fitness market, in the fitness industry. And if you look at the percentages, if you can see that, 18 and 13%, that's a big piece of that category. The beauty is you're selling something that's really easy to talk about and fill those shortages that are out there with people's nutrition. And you got something to back it up with that tastes incredible. And then the next thing we're going to talk about a little bit is the balance and how that is adding to the additional benefits of the meal replacement side of things. So popularity, ease of sale, definitely one of the easiest products. I want you to ask yourself this though. How many clients, truly do ask this question to yourself right now for me, how many of your clients want to lose weight? Okay, now think about it. It's probably 90%, I would imagine, right? Ask yourself this next question. What percentage are using the RX Meal or some kind of a bar or whatever you want to put in there? What percentage are on a meal replacement? And if it's not 50%, and I'm going to be conservative on that's kind of a goal number, I would truly say 80%, because it is an easy sale. If it's not 50%, get it at least there. And that's my plea to you because we just talked about those that are using a meal replacement, how successful they are in weight loss and how much more successful they are. That's huge. We want people to get results. With that being said, the next step I want to talk about is really at the end of the day, that's all easy conversation. That's all showing them a solution of why it is. Then you got things like you could discuss $1.87 per serving. You probably can save some people some money, right? Because the people that we talked about, the grab and go stuff, they're probably grabbing $3-4 here and there of something, whether it's a snack or if it's a meal or eating lunch out or something like that. You can actually probably save money, and so the RX Meal is very cost effective. $1.87, that's extremely easy to sell. The product highlights of themselves, a lot of you know this, but it's calorie controlled. So when you look at the RX Meal, 140 calories, 150 calories, definitely calorie controlled. That's one scoop. And I like to talk about it this way. 1 scoop is more of a snack, and 2 scoops is more of a meal, right? So, and even if you do 2 scoops, 280 to 300 calories, for most people, you're still calorie controlled. I mean, that's not that much. And then you got healthy fats in there. You have high fiber, which we know what fiber does, right? It keeps us regular, but it also adds bulk. It helps satiate us. It helps us make us feel fuller, right? Sticks with us longer, which controlling hunger, again, is a big piece to this game of weight loss. Low sugar, and then you have your protein. So when you look at this balance, it definitely is a great balance that speaks to what we're trying to accomplish in between meals or if someone's skipping breakfast, that type of thing. It also adds flexibility. I'm not opposed to carbohydrates. A lot of meal replacements on the market, they're 30 to 40 grams of carbohydrates. But for most people, this is a great starting point. And if they do warrant more carbohydrates because let's say they're more active or they need more carbohydrates, then fine. Put in fresh fruits, frozen fruit. Do different things that you can naturally bump up those carbohydrates and get it where you need to be, and you still will be calorie controlled. If you haven't seen our recipes that we have available, we have all kinds of recipes for each flavor that shows you how to do these things. You can add in these things and still be calorie controlled and do different variations of shakes and make it fun and all that good stuff. So that's the RX meals. Let's keep it going. We're going to do one more today. Protein. Okay? I don't think I need to build a case for protein. At least I hope I don't need to build a case for protein, because it's pretty clear. Most people are taking a protein supplement. It's your guys' top seller. It's our top seller at all clubs that we work with. But let's discuss the shortage, because we do want to address that. So when we look at shortages, here's what the experts suggest. 10% to 35%, you probably heard this before, of daily calories need to come from protein. Okay, and I don't have any issue with that. But this one is, the experts suggest 46 grams of protein for women and approximately 56 grams for men. Here's what, based on the U.S. Food Survey that's out there, is on average, women eat about 70 grams per protein per day. Men eat about 100 grams. Okay? How about some real expert advice here? Because let's look at this for a second. If we take a 170-pound female, okay, her needs are going to be 116 grams of protein. I'm going to show you how I get to that number, and you may know where I'm going with this. 120-pound female athlete, someone very, very active, needs 109 grams. 225-pound male, about 153 grams of protein. And I took the 170-pound female and 225-pound male. The reason for that, in case studies that I've done with other groups out there, they all kind of said that's the number. You know, if I have a client that's a female that wants to lose weight, typically I see 160, 170 pounds, same thing with the male, right around 225. So that's why I'm picking that. But I'm also throwing in the male athlete side of it and female athlete, because we know they're more active and they're going to need more protein intake. So, and to finish this off, a 190-pound male athlete needs about 173 grams. If we follow the other advice up there, we're going to be short. And the last thing we want to do is ever be short on protein. There should be no reason to be short on protein. If you're short on protein, you might as well not even work out. I mean, I hate to say that, but if you're only doing 56 grams of protein and you're resistance training 4 or 5 times a week hard with maybe some cardio, what do you're not going to have enough to build up and repair and maintain that muscle tissue. So in fact, you're making it worse, right? So we do need to make sure there is no shortage of protein in our diet. And just to kind of look at it, it's kind of hard to make sure you hit that number. You know, if I am that female, it's 170 pounds, and I want to lose 30 pounds, and I need to get 116 grams of protein, visually, this is kind of what it looks like. Now, I know, I understand, guys, that you can get protein from other sources of food in what you're eating. Your vegetables will have some, and rice and all that stuff. But just from a visual standpoint, you show that to a female or even a male down there, that's 4 ounces is what I'm trying to represent here of beef or chicken or fish. That's what it's going to take to kind of hit that number within 150 to 170 grams of protein. Now, we just talked about the other shortage with the meal replacement of time, preparation, and knowledge. It's going to fall into this category too. Is someone going to be able to make sure they get that much protein in? Okay, so we don't want to be short, so obviously the solution is going to be a protein supplement. And no doubt about it, why it's across the board, across the industry, it's the top selling supplement that there is. But from a solution building standpoint, I think there's a lot of power to really showcase this and educate it. And how I got these numbers up here that you see, you may remember, I like to showcase this calculation. And the reason why I like this one is because it has a method to it, right? What we're doing is we're actually sitting down, and this is where you want to sit down with your active clients or new clients and really make sure they understand the importance of the protein. And I love this calculation because it requires a little bit of work. Not much. You're not going to be going through this whole calculation forever. It's just a quick, but it shows them based on their body weight and their activity level, what they need to make sure every day that they're getting in their body for protein. Because females, most of them, when I train them and when I listen to other trainers talk about their clients, they want that tight toned look, right? They want to have that slim, lean look. Guys, they want to have a build look, a lot of lean muscle on them. And you need to make sure you're hitting those protein numbers every day. So I know you can use different formulas. And to be honest with you, I really don't care. I just would suggest that hopefully you do this or are doing this. Whatever you use, whether you use 0.5 grams per body weight or 1 gram per body weight, I personally, and from what I've learned from other nutrition experts and registered dietitians and sports nutritionists, this is kind of what they use. So I like it. This is just an example of this is take that client, take that, let's say 220-pound male, find out what the kilograms are, find out where I'd say 90% of them are going to fit in this active 1.5 range, right? Unless they're a high intensity, doing a lot of different workouts or an athlete, you probably don't need to put them at 2. But if you take this and you show them, okay, John, you need 150 grams of protein, and we want to spread that out to maximize getting fed to the muscle and being absorbed and used, we're going to do about 30 grams per meal. Okay? How are we going to do it? I used to do it this way. I need you to pack up 4 to 5 pieces of some kind of a meat, or we need to get some beans and rice in here with everything and really dig into this, or let's do 1 or 2 shakes a day and make that number more chewable. Make that number a lot easier to hit, because if you're doing 50 grams in shakes, then you only got to hit 100. It's more manageable that way. I love to use this and show them that, number one, we don't ever want shortages, because keeping muscle, building muscle is the name of the game. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're trying to lose weight, build muscle, that of course is going to fit into that, but that's what we're trying to do. So we need to make sure we got that protein. There is no shortages. Here's your magic number. How are we going to solve for that? Are you going to prepare? No, okay, you got to get on a protein. When you see this, these 3 products that we talked about so far, the Daily Essentials multivitamin, the meal replacement, and protein, really addressing the shortages that we've talked about. I mean, that's it. I mean, this is the one thing that I suggest everyone. If you're on a protein, you better be on a Daily Essentials. If you're on the meal replacement, you better be taking your Daily Essentials. And there's just such a great conversation to have with people and show them the solution. And then the price, I honestly don't know. If I had to guess, a good piece of chicken breast is going to be a lot more money than $1.33 or $1.27. So again, it's cost effective. It's a great way to get the protein, and also it's cost effective for you. So when you chunk it out that way, it's a great solution for you, and it makes it easy to hit that protein number. Let's talk about building blocks a little bit more. You all know it's a protein. It's a matrix. So it is an isolate, concentrate, egg white. It's high quality protein. The reason why it's the matrix is because we're maximizing the isolate, which is quick absorption, which is fantastic for after workout. Concentrate, obviously, is a mid, and egg white, which is a little bit lengthier. Now, the beauty of that particular protein is we're giving them some anabolic and catabolic advantages here with the protein. So the building blocks protein is great for everyone. And what I want to talk about is the next piece of this is concentrate. A lot of times people, I don't know if I want to say get turned off by it, but they have this notion of, maybe it's not that good of a protein. Here's what I'll tell you. There is so much different levels of whey concentrate out there. Of course, you should believe that we're using a high quality protein concentrate, and there's ways you can tell by how much fat's in there and things like that. But there are advantages to concentrate. It does have additional things in there that can help with immune system, things like that. So the advantage of a concentrate is there's additional advantages to it. It's not that much different than just a whey isolate. A good protein concentrate will be 80 to 85% true protein. Whey isolate, 95, a little bit higher. Now, I certainly agree, whey isolate for post-workout, if that's your goal, if that's your mission of providing good protein right after your workout, that's a fantastic product. And you should expect to pay $90 for an average container size in the industry, 4 to 5 pounds. If you're not, I'd be very, very wary because you should be paying that much if it truly is what it is, high quality. And that's good. That is good for certain people, and especially when you're looking at post-workout. But for the majority of people that need high-quality protein to hit that number that we're talking about, Building Blocks protein is a perfect solution for them. It's a great protein for them. And then lastly, I want to pose a challenge to you before we wrap up today. When you look at proteins, because I know it's the most microscope thing out there in supplements as far as protein. Is it good? Is it this? Is it that? How you can tell a good protein is different things like this. So I want to challenge you to do a couple things. We list our natural occurring amino acid profile on the label, on the container. That is what everyone should do. It's the best practice, if you will. It also shows you the quality of protein. Here's what I want you to do. See if you can find the natural occurring amino acid profile listed. Because it's not easy. I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be an easy challenge. Part of the reason is it'll tell you the quality of it. Every week, if you look at the cost of protein, it's going up and down, up, up, down, up. I mean, it's crazy. And part of the reason is, if you don't know this, a couple years ago, Gatorade got into the game, and they started coming out with products with more protein. That actually created a huge supply and demand issue. So that's why protein is such a beast right now, and that's why you hear about things like amino spiking. Maybe you've heard of that. Go Google amino spiking in brands and see which ones are under a lawsuit right now. Because what are they doing? They're putting in things like taurine to hide and mask and make that nitrogen appear to be protein, and it's really, you're not getting the protein you think you are. And then you got things like people using concentrate at a lesser level, like really low. Like if you look at the first generation of protein concentrate, it was between 30 to 40%, which the standard for food is whey protein concentrate 34, so 34%. That's kind of what the standard is. Basically what that means is 34% of that is protein by weight, and it has a lot of carbs and a lot of fat, but it's inexpensive in comparison to an 80 to 85%. Because it's not as much protein. And that's where you start to see, when you look at the cost out there and you see such a variance of cost, I'll bet you some of these players that are out there, and I know they are using a lesser grade concentrate, which makes everyone kind of think, well, concentrate is not that good. It is. I promise you it's a great, and if it's a high quality, it's a great protein to add in. So my default here is check out the natural occurring amino acid profile. Compare to what's out there and see if you can find those that list their actual amino acid profile on the container. And then B, if you do see it or do find it, compare it to ours. And let me know if you find something that has a higher natural occurring amino acid profile. I'm gonna put it out. It's a fun challenge. Maybe you guys as a team can do. So with that being said, that's gonna wrap up today's training. We're gonna keep this theme going of shortages, and then where a product can. We're gonna build a case for certain products, and then we're gonna finalize talking about the particular product it is with Supplement RX and the advantages of using that particular product. So once again, I appreciate you guys jumping on. Have a good rest of the week. I will send out as usual, the slide deck for you in case you obviously want it or want to review it some more. And then hit me up if you guys have any questions or needs from here on out. I appreciate it.